You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, let's talk about ESPN, former ESPN legend. He's now, I believe, on NBC Sports. And, of course, he's got a very popular podcast that you can watch on YouTube or whatever. Dan Patrick, of course, used to be part of that legendary team. And I can't believe I'm going to say this, but it was a legendary team with Keith Olbermann. Boy, you want to talk about somebody that literally drove their career off of a bridge because they were a lunatic? Keith Olbermann. But nonetheless, we're going to talk about Dan Patrick telling Jason Kelce to avoid ESPN like it's the plague. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I basically consume nothing on ESPN anymore outside of literal live sports. I turn it over there to start the game. When it's over, I turn it off. Okay? I cannot do their I don't watch Get Up. I don't watch First Take. I don't watch any of that crap. Now, one of the hottest names out there is former Philadelphia Eagles lineman. In fact, he was the center, Jason Kelce. He recently retired, and we got networks in a bidding war to get him. And part of the thinking here is that Kelce would be a part of Monday Night Countdown. All right? Now, I don't know if you've even bumped into Monday Night Countdown lately, but it's awful. It is absolutely terrible. In fact, Outkick did the same article, and they mentioned down at the bottom here that they are looking to actually replace RG3 in this. Here it is right here. ESPN hopes to replace RG3 next season. Right now it's Scott Van Pelt, Marcus Spears, Ryan Clark, and RG3. I'd rather watch paint dry. I mean, seriously, I would rather watch paint dry. And if Jason Kelce goes to ESPN, they're going to work him like a dog in the street. If he goes to Fox or somewhere, he won't have to do that. After his retirement from the NFL, after a 13-year career with the Eagles earlier this year, it felt like it would be just a matter of time before television networks came calling for Jason Kelce. By the way, Belichick, I don't think he came out and he's not going to join anybody. Kelce, who co-hosts the New Heights podcast with his brother, Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce, is a natural fit for a role due to his knowledge of the game and his tremendous personality. His brother, Jason, very entertaining, very likable. Seems like a regular guy that just happened to have played football. I think we need more of that on television, frankly. Multiple networks have reached out, but ESPN has reportedly been aggressive in trying to get the future Hall of Famer for Monday Night Countdown. Former ESPNer Dan Patrick thinks it may be a bad fit. Quote, you don't just come in and do Monday Night Countdown. There's so much more they'll ask you to do. It's the car wash for a reason. You go in and you'll be on this show and this show and this show and this show. You're at their demand. Troy Aikman has had to do things with the mothership where he didn't have to do that with Fox, Patrick said, referencing the fact that ESPN generally spreads their talent across multiple shows. Well, they've had to do that because Disney had to lay off so many talent, so many talented folks. I mean, you don't have Mike Golick, you don't have Trey Wingo, you don't have a bunch of folks on there that I wanted to watch, or I did watch at one time. I mean, hell, if I watch Pat McAfee, I turn it over to YouTube. I don't watch it on ESPN. Kelce could find him, and honestly, Jason Kelce's kind of got that kind of down-to-earth, regular guy personality, kind of like Pat McAfee, and you've seen what he's done. In fact, if I was Jason Kelce, hell, grow your own podcast, make it live, and set it up in some kind of format in the same way that McAfee does, and it'll explode. I mean, be independent if you want to. Kelce could find himself appearing on Countdown, NFL Live, SportsCenter, and anything else in between. Patrick went on to say he had a similar conversation with Charles Barkley when he was considering heading to ESPN. Quote, I want to hear Charles one time. I don't want it to be watered down that you're hearing it 3 or 4 times over the course of a day. If you go to ESPN, you really have to be geared up. I really like being on TV. I really like being on radio. I really like doing somebody else's podcast. If Jason Kelce is interested in that, that could be the place for him. I wouldn't advise him to go there because I think he's a unique voice right now, and I would want to have one place where I could hear him. Patrick does make some strong points, but ultimately Kelce will likely fit in whatever role ESPN asks should he choose to go there. But he will likely have no shortage of options over the summer. He's probably outside of Belichick, and now Belichick's pulled his name out, it looks like, of the running, and because he's still wanting to coach. I think he's probably the most in-demand name that we've had in a while outside of Belichick being involved. And I would say Brady, but Brady's already got a gig coming up with Fox and Fox Sports for their NFL coverage. So he's right. And not only that, but there's just so many people that don't watch ESPN anymore, don't consume it. And you feel like, or at least this is my take, when I turn it on ESPN, I fully expect them to toe some kind of company line. All right? That they're not going to be authentic. They're not going to be able to say what they want to say. McAfee came out recently and said ESPN doesn't own my show. He kind of allows them to distribute that show through one network, and he makes some other appearances. But he's like, this show is still his. And so that's how he has it formatted. I don't know. Maybe Jason Kelce could get them to, help him with a show kind of like McAfee. Or if they want him as an analyst, where do you put him? I don't think there's a space for him there. But Dan Patrick, look, ESPN and Dan Patrick, I don't think parted ways on such good terms, which was sad. He said they were really irate that he wanted to leave, blah, blah, blah. Acted like typical ESPN douchebags. And this was prior to Disney sort of taking over and putting all their politics, all their wokeness into their products. This was before that. By the way, Dan Patrick is still the GOAT. He's still really good at what he does. I don't listen as much as I used to. I used to listen to that show a lot. But he's still one of the best voices we've ever had talking about sports. Wow. I think Jason Kelce, it's going to be interesting. Don't sleep on Amazon Prime, because I think their pregame show is pretty weak, personally speaking, and they're willing to spend up. And, well, Richard Sherman did get in some trouble. You know? So that's something to think about. Could they axe? ESPN's talking about axing, or at least getting RG3 off of Monday Night Countdown. Could Amazon remove Richard Sherman, replace him with Jason Kelce? Of course, they'll probably be accused of being racist if they do that. But he's in some trouble, so tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.